Welcome down here, up there, all around the world to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. The big story. The big story today is the Supreme Court once again shoving their gavels up the election. Longtime viewers of America will remember that Colorado kicked Trump off the ballot because of the whole launching a violent coup so he could stay in office, violating the 14th Amendment's insurrection clause. Well, today, the Supreme Court said Trump can stay on all state ballots in a unanimous ruling. A ruling... I agree. It is a ruling that I will remind you no one has to follow because last week I declared the Supreme Court unconstitutional. So, you're getting that right? Fact check me on that one. I did that, right?
Yeah, you did that.
So states, feel free to kick him off your ballot. Tell him Colbert says it's okay. I got your back. You're dealing with me now. That was just the Constitution. You're dealing with me now. Now, the justices claim that since different states have different standards for what would qualify as insurrection, conflicting state outcomes would lead to chaos. Yes, the Supreme Court knows you can't just let states decide who goes on their ballots. States are too busy deciding that life begins in the freezer section. Next to the pearl onions. Now, you know, life. So, anyway, here's SCOTUS's basic rationale. The majority says that disqualifying a candidate for insurrection can only occur when Congress passes legislation. Okay, quick question. If Congress does decide to pass that legislation to disqualify a candidate for insurrection, what if he sends his mob to storm Congress to stop them from passing that legislation? Does that count as insurrection? Or do they have to pass more legislation about that before the next mob shows up? I'm just asking, because clearly you guys haven't put any thought into any of this stuff. Okay? You gotta think it through. Okay, there's steps. I'm just saying. Donald Trump had how many? Two rallies this weekend. One in Virginia and one in North Carolina. But the two speeches had one unifying theme. His brain is broke. Here he is in Greensboro talking about how the U.S. doesn't need to import oil from petrostates.
We are a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your...
Not entirely sure what's going on there, but apparently he can't even say the word Russia without climaxing. Last week there was a big speech from Vladimir Putin. Nappy time. The former president continued.
Can we be energy independent? Can we be energy dominant again? Oh yes, and quickly, says President Trump. Oh yes, and quickly.
Is he giving a speech or reading a book to toddlers? Oh yes, said President Trump. With golden hair and a mushy rump. All the words that I can manage because of all of my brain damage. Oh! That wasn't the only time Trump struggled with geography.
In Venezuela, did you just see Maduro? Venezuela, it's unbelievable.
Yes, the nation of Venezuela, unbelievable. Located just north of Uruguay and Peru. Trump's speeches weren't all demented word slurry. He also did the completely normal thing of describing a graph that no one can see.
Within 2 years, we were so far above Saudi Arabia and Russia, which were number 1 and 2. You have to see the chart. They're like this, and we're like, ding, boom.
Oh, I know that one. Ding, boom. Ding, 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 boom. Ding, 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 boom. Ding, 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 whale. Trump also ranted about the Georgia election fraud case, specifically prosecutor Fani Willis.
I was indicted by Fannie in Georgia, Fannie, and her lover, Nathan Wade. And they hired him for almost $1 million because of his great experience. Of course, he didn't have any experience. He had experience in something else. You know that. A lot of experience.
I have a question. Has he had sex? What is this? What is this? Is he honking a horn? Is this a... Knock, knock. Who's there? Sex. Sex. Honk, honk. Sign the NDA. Sign. While talking about Fani Willis, Trump brought up his own personal life.
I happen to have a very good relationship with a woman called Melania.
No normal person refers to their spouse that way. I now pronounce you husband and a woman called wife. Now, Trump wasn't the only one at his rallies who struggled with English. So did his warm-up acts, like the Virginia state senator who tried to kick things off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the United States of America.
Flag on the play. Flag. To the flag. There are 4 of them. The big stripy things right behind you, you numbnut. Things weren't any better in North Carolina when this woman tried to sing the national anthem.
Through the perilous fight, o'er the hours we watched.
Through the what? Through the we watch? What's going on at Trump's rallies? At this point, I think they should check for a gas leak. Even worse, somehow, was one of Trump's fellow speakers, North Carolina Congresswoman and cockatiel watching you walk toward its cage with a blanket, Virginia Fox. Fox said this.
Let me make something crystal clear. I have President Trump's back because he has my back. I'm with President Trump because he has your back.
Okay, sounds like a flub, but it's not. A tresident is merely a president who's committed treason. At one point, Trump mentioned North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. Now, Robinson's currently running for governor. Among other things, Robinson is known for his use of anti-Semitic tropes and the prediction that rising acceptance of homosexuality would lead to the end of civilization as we know it. It is true. Compassionate acceptance of people you disagree with destroys civilizations. I mean, we've all seen Planet of the Apes.
You maniacs! You let a gay couple register at Crate and Barrel!
Thank you, Charles. We miss you, Chuck. We miss you, Chuck. Now, the candidate, Robinson, is black, and at the rally, Trump said this about him.
I heard him coming in on the plane. I was listening, and I said to the people on the plane, watch this. This is Martin Luther King on steroids.
Yeah. No. People don't talk about it. But a lot of moral leaders of the 20th century were juicing. MLK had six-pack abs. Gandhi could squat 600 pounds. And by the end of her life, Mother Teresa was Calcut. On steroids. She's on steroids now. Trump's campaign is really trying to appeal to minorities, but that requires being appealing. So instead, Trump supporters have been creating and sharing AI-generated fake images of black voters to encourage African Americans to vote Republican. Like this photo of Trump surrounded by black supporters, which obviously is fake. You can tell because this man is missing half of a finger, and this man's hat says something like, Mia Ashna. Then there's this deep fake photo of a black man allegedly canvassing for Trump. Looks fairly normal until you realize the guy he's talking to has 3 arms. It's weird. Now, hold on. On the one hand, this is blatantly dangerous. On the other hand, new technology makes these kind of fakes easier. On the third hand... Why does he have a third hand? We're learning more about Trump's first term in the White House, and spoiler alert, not great. About a month ago, the Defense Department issued a report about the lax drug controls in the White House. One person who worked in the pharmacy described their policies this way: things were pretty loose. Whatever someone needs, we were going to fill this. Coincidentally, Don Jr.'s Secret Service code name, someone. Now, we've found out since then which drugs they were talking about. And apparently, Trump's White House was awash in speed and Xanax. Why Xanax? Because they're all on speed. But why speed? Well, one former staffer explained it this way: I had a lot going on in my life, and I wanted some. Perfectly reasonable. Reminds me of that famous slogan, dare to keep kids off drugs unless they want some. We got a great show for you tonight. My guests are RuPaul and Sapiens author Yuval